Hey loves! Guess I can kind of declare it now, but I've decided that I'm going to go vegetarian. I don't know how many days you need to not eat meat before you can say I'm a vegetarian, but I was a vegetarian before for about maybe 3.5 years. I introduced seafood back into my diet and did that for a whole nother year where I was pescatarian, and then I had my son and my daughter thereafter, and I've been eating meat for about 4 years now again, and I've been waiting and trying to figure out when would be a good time to just not eat meat anymore. And I think I've just been so afraid because when I was a vegetarian, I only had to worry about myself. I was cooking only for me, nobody else. I wasn't even married. So to go now and become a vegetarian again when I have children and a husband is really scary because it will require a lot of differences and a lot of different planning, and a lot of things will be different. But I am ready to commit to it based on what I've read in this book. So I want to talk about, I'll start with one of the chapters in the very beginning. There's a chapter that really resonated with me called Positive Habits Create a Positive Life. And there's so many things in this chapter that I won't really be able to touch upon them. He talks about why some people are more successful than others, and he goes into detail about him being curious about people in sports, and he gives some points about winners and how winners seem to possess an awareness that actions have consequences. And finally, he gets to a place where he says, I realized that being successful wasn't about who you were or where you were born. It was about being conscious and aware that the choices you make on a daily basis really affect you in the long run. Outside of food, obviously, he's talking about in life. And this is definitely something that I believe in because I come from an environment originally where being successful is not something that many have been able to do. It's not like the masses. I come from a third world country. I wasn't born there, so I do have opportunities by being born here. But within the culture, within the society, the mind frame of my community, my cultural beliefs, it's not something that a lot of people do. So the next part is making better habits instead of excuses. And he talks about if you're overweight, unhealthy habits are the culprit. If you want to change your lifestyle, if you want to change your life, you have to start with your habits. That one thing there about changing your lifestyle and changing your habits really spoke to me because I was never a thin person. I'm not even thin now. I'm a healthy, happy weight, but I've never been a thin person. And all of my life, I made unhealthy habits because they were passed down to me from my family, from generation to generation to generation. I never had the type of parents that limited my eating. I never had the type of parents that restricted what I ate, said, no, you can't have that, have this instead, said, this is more for you, and just present them to you. I never had that. Never, ever, ever. And now with my children, I have that. I often have this discussion with my husband because sometimes he makes really poor decisions around how he's going to prepare something for the kids. For example, a simple meal like a grilled cheese sandwich is just cheese and bread. Not the most nutritious thing in the world, but if you make it with wheat bread, it is a complex carbohydrate. Cheese is a dairy, no harm done. I will make my grilled cheese sandwiches for the kids alongside some soup, and I will make the sandwich with Pam. My husband, on the other hand, will make the same grilled cheese sandwich and put a heaping of butter in the pan. My children enjoy the grilled cheese sandwich with just the Pam, so why do we need to use the excess fat, the excess calorie, the excess sodium? It's not necessary. Just don't use it. I want my children to grow up having healthy habits, unlike me having to learn them back, having to replace my butter for nonstick spray is something that they will know. They won't know that. They won't know, oh, you're supposed to make grilled cheese with butter. They'll know you make it with nonstick spray. My children eat turkey sandwiches with hummus as spread instead of mayo. they won't know any different until they go other places and someone's making it a different way. But I'm hoping that they will be raised with enough, you know, enough healthy habits that they actively make their sandwiches with healthier condiments. For before breakfast, with breakfast, my children eat oatmeal or Cheerios or Life. They always have a fruit before. I give them an option. Applesauce, when they were children, that's the only option they had. When they were younger, applesauce was the only option they had. And as they've gotten older, I ask them, do you want an apple or a banana, or do you want applesauce? Usually Elle still says she wants applesauce, and Joelle will choose between the apple or the banana. But they know they get a healthy serving of fruit with a healthy complex carbohydrate breakfast. And those are healthy habits that I can instill in them, and I want to do that. The book goes on, and I talked a lot about that because that was a point of, you know, reference that really resonated with me. But, you know, I changed my bad habits, and it took me a while to get there. The book reminded me a lot about that. It talks about fighting against a lifetime of ingrained habits of overeating and indulging, and I'm at that place. I recently did a cleanse. I hope you saw that video, and that helped put me into perspective how much I was overeating, because so little was so satisfying when I did the cleanse. So I knew right after the cleanse I could continue on with a low calorie, plant-based eating, and I knew that I could go vegetarian. I did take some of the recipes from this book that I will be trying out to see how I feel about eating completely vegan, but I'm not at a place right now where I want to go vegan. I am very familiar with being a vegetarian, and I enjoyed it. I didn't really find it too challenging after the first couple of months, and I'm going to continue with it. Needless to say, I will not be following the 22-day revolution diet meal plan in this book, but I did get some really good ideas, food ideas, and there are tons of beautiful photographs to go along with some of the delicious food that they suggest in the book. And I'm just really excited. I'm really excited for this experience going back vegetarian. I think it will be helpful for my children because I will give them many meatless options. I think the hardest person in my family that probably will not change his diet is going to be my husband, but my son really could care less for meat many days already as it is. My daughter does ask for more meat because it's delicious, of course, but I am eager to see how she will react when I give her filling options that are not meatless and not boring, you know? Just because you take the meat out of a dish doesn't mean the dish is just a bunch of sides. Making vegetarian food is an actual meal, and I want her to feel that way when she eats. So that was, I really do recommend the book if you want more information on a plant-based diet. A lot of the facts, scientific facts about how eating well changes your life. There's even some testimonials built in throughout, and it's a great motivator. But majority of the book is the diet. So if you're not considering like actually going on the 22-day revolution diet, you might want to not get the book. I'm trying to find where the pages that are educational end. So 86 pages, or however many pages of the 86 are actually readable, is the bulk of where I read, and then the rest of it is where you begin the diet. So he goes on to give you some fitness tips and so on, but basically from 87 all the way to 240 is all the diet, and then 241 to the end is post-diet foods and stuff. So if you're not going to go vegan, or you're not thinking about going vegan, or you don't want to follow the diet, I don't know if it's worth paying for it. This is a hardcover book I bought from Barnes & Noble, and the price of this book was $27.95. So for $27.95, I not planning on going vegan, but really wanting to understand a little bit more about plant-based and just a refresher, because like I said, it's been 4 years. It was worth it for me because I'm now committed to going vegetarian. And I always buy books and don't read them right when I buy them, and this was the right time for me to read this. If I read this book in the summer when I bought it, it wouldn't have been as effective. But having read this book during the middle of a cleanse, where I'm already in a mind frame where I'm open and willing and accepting of something new, and I'm excited about the results, and of course you want to retain and maintain those results, so it just put me in the right place. It was the right time for me to read this book now than before. It's a great book. I probably would give it a 4 because I feel like there could be some more educational stuff added to it outside of all the pages that are meal plans, but it was a great book. Let me know if you would ever read it, if you've read it, what your thoughts were. Subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, whatever they may be at all, please leave them below. And as always, I love you for watching. Bye.